So let's talk about Rime. Uh, this is it's kind of a weird game because it was revealed as a PlayStation exclusive. They lost that. It came back onto all platforms now. It's Zelda-ish in appearance and some time in gameplay. It's kind of like Ico. It's it's so weird and different. It's got some journey in it as well, a lot of journey. And quite honestly, I I I like this game so much. This is what I'd want from a artsy game like Journey, where it is a game. There are puzzles. There's exploration. It's not a linear thing. It's a meaty enough experience, probably 6 or so hours to get through Rime, and that's not to find everything. There was maybe 30-40% of the collectibles I still could go back and see. And as opposed to something where you get very few surprises in something like Journey. Oh, this is a cool new area. That's a cool new area. Constantly throughout Rime was I seeing these events and like the way things moved around, and it was just in awe. That's what it was the entire time. Like, what's this next vista gonna be? What is this beautiful animation gonna lead to? Like, look at this weird sky. There's absolutely no reason for it. It's just beautiful. And each world, the game is sectioned off into 4 worlds, I think. Um, each one is visually distinct, and it's just a joy to go around and explore. Now, do I wish there could be more puzzles? Yeah, maybe. Do I wish the puzzles could be more difficult or more involved? Also maybe. But I think the experience of it, it's very much if The Legend of Zelda had no combat and was just about wandering around. And you're finding these things and you're piecing together this story in such a way that was really captivating is not the right word. Like, it wasn't a page turner necessarily, but it was a constant flow of progress. And there were these moments where I'd get to somewhere and I'd want to go left or right, right? Like, I want to go both ways. I want to see everything in this world. I want to just experience it all. And I'd jump, kind of like that. I'd go the wrong way and I wouldn't be able to turn back. And I'd be disappointed that I wasn't, not that I missed content necessarily, but that I missed part of the world. It's so beautifully put together. And it tells this story as you eventually realize that I think is powerful might not be the right. I'm saying the wrong word and then saying might not be the right word. Very impactful in a way where it ends with a reveal, right? And it's not a reveal of along the lines of Journey where, oh, that thing you saw the entire way, that was actually this. It's more of, oh, this was a real thing. Like, it grounds it in reality in such a way where, like, oh, I was having a fun time adventure, but this is actually something much more meaningful, and maybe it's a little overt in a couple of ways, like really towards the end, some of the things it does, but I didn't expect it to happen, and I really enjoyed that. And I think the entire journey of pushing blocks around and solving puzzles and yelling at torches to make them light up, it just has such a fun to it. It never, and I'd even hesitate to call it a puzzle game because it never really gets to that point. This isn't The Witness or anything like that. You're just exploring the world. You're just finding new things out and about there. And it's so unique. It's very much that weird art game. And I think it does it better than pretty much any of the weird art games I've played. It has enough gameplay and exploration and finding collectibles to satiate someone who wants more from games, but it has that weird story and this beautifully crafted environment that is so indicative of something like Journey or Firewatch. And I'd much rather play something like this that kind of appeases both sides of that coin, right? It's not a walking simulator, but in a sense it is. There's no combat. You can die, kind of. It just restarts you back kind of where you were. Like these boars can't kill you. You're just kind of solving weird puzzles, and exploring and experiencing it. So in a way, it's very much a walking simulator. There's nothing else to do. There's no dialogue, so that is an interesting choice that they made there, and I think that makes it more powerful in some of the ways it does, and some of the things you see, because you can't necessarily talk to it. It's the same thing Ico or Shadow of the Colossus or whatever. They do that same thing, right? It's not in English. It's not in any language. It's just in a language, and I think that works well here. It's also, I mean, it's so gorgeous. I don't know if I mentioned that already. It is stunningly beautiful. It really is probably one of the most, just the art direction of it all. It makes it one of the best looking games I've ever played. It's stunning how it looks. It looks like Wind Waker if it was made today, and that is incredible. To think that something like Wind Waker could become more detailed, more cartoonish, but more like thick with art, like all the grass and the leaves and where you go after these places. The next world, the third world, which is on this, which has the most puzzles actually. This adventure with these creatures that are wandering around with you. It's so full of life and yet so quiet in how it does it. You know, this scene here, there's animals up there, but now it's just nothing. And you're exploring, and all you have is just, well, I guess I'll just explore. And it does a really good job of having these open areas and still having like this, you see right here, the little smokestack or whatever you want to call it. Definitely not a smokestack. To tell you where to go, to guide you. And it has the caped man that you see up there. It does a really good job of all of that. And look, I mean, you dive underwater for no reason, and it's just detailed and beautiful. The invisible walls in the water are jellyfish swarms that just appear out of nowhere. It's just got a lot of fun stuff like that, and I really, really enjoyed it. It's not one of those games where you'll get the bug and you'll like, I can't wait to play this. This is incredible. Like, let me play hours and hours and hours. I was like, it's not one of those games, but it's something. When I sat down to play it, every time I did, it was incredibly enjoyable from start to finish, solving light puzzles, exploring, seeing its world. It's really unique. As much as I compare it to Zelda or Journey or whatever, any of those games like that, Ico, it felt super unique. And as someone who didn't really like Ico that much, this is an improvement upon that. Obviously, that game's like 15 years old, and I haven't played The Last Guardian yet, so I don't know. But I think this does that kind of thing just as well as those games, if you love those games. And maybe even better. It has a bunch of replayability too, with that collectibles and stuff I was talking about. When you beat it, you can go back and pick which chapter you want to do, and it tells you, hey, you missed 2 of these, you missed 2 of these. So you can go and pick and choose where you want to do that, find all the other objectives. So that's there too. I would imagine you could get a good 8 to 10 hours finding everything, experiencing it all, and having a really, really good time. Is it the game of the year? Is it the best game ever made? No. But it certainly is pretty high on my list of games I played this year, just because of how memorable it all was. Games have had better puzzles, games have controlled better, games have probably had better graphics, better art style, like whatever, right? But the experience of all of it together, the full package, and my experience with it was, I don't know, maybe it's hyperbolic, extraordinary. It was extremely good to experience it all. I think that's what you want from games, right? It's the full package. It's the full experience. And this was it. Rime is, Rime is special. I guess that's a good way to put it. It's not just a clone of any of those games I said. Rime is special. Now, what does Rime mean? I don't know. I really didn't look it up, didn't bother to think about it. I don't know. But there's collectibles, and the Banjo-Kazooie person in me really wants to collect all of them. But it's also one of those things where when you finish it, you want to put it down. You want to let it be free. And maybe those collectibles are there, and some people are going to immediately go back and find them. But I was done. Like that was it. That was my experience with it, and let it go. And that's as close as I can get to without spoiling anything, really. Great work is what I'm saying. If anyone ever sees this, great work. Solid games as art experience. This is as highfalutin as I'll get for games as art. Rime. It gets a thumbs up. No, I'm not starting a rating system now. 1 thumb. No thumbs.